GIS is used to support the intelligence, operations, and readiness mission. This session will provide an overview of the unique capabilities in ArcGIS for defense and intelligence organizations. This session will help new or returning users familiarize themselves with the resources that are available. If you have questions or are looking for more information, you can visit any of the websites at the bottom of the screen or by following the QR code, or you can reach out and connect with us on social media or via email. First, I'd like to set a little bit of context. Our security in our world is increasingly challenged. Of course, I don't need to tell you this. You see it every day in your work that you do. These challenges require us to respond in a multi-jurisdictional, multi-agency, and global way. And you and your community are key to this response. Many of you are working across various areas from intelligence, operational readiness, sustainment, disaster relief, or even providing the foundational intelligence on which all planning and operations occur. So defense and intelligence missions are supported by GIS across a wide variety of different areas. And this diagram probably reflects some area that you work in. So if you find yourself on this diagram, just be aware that many people across many different disciplines are probably using GIS in very similar ways as you, whether it's helping with our overall operational readiness, preparing our forces for the future combat missions, making sure our installations and facilities are up to date and environmentally ready, helping to supply the forces in the field. You might be involved in the intelligence mission, whether that's our national intelligence agencies or down at the tactical level, supporting the ground stations or systems in the field, the ISR capabilities that might be collecting data for troops in the field or supporting tactical operations on a daily basis. Additionally, you might actually be involved in operations. So you might be supporting a common operational picture or using GIS to embed mapping capabilities inside weapon systems in the field, or to support data collection by experts in the field. Or you might actually be involved in the mapping capabilities, providing the foundational content on which all of these operations are supported. And that's all covered in our national mapping sessions. If you find yourself somewhere in this graphic, then you can find some content in here that'll apply to you. But also when you visit us at our neighborhoods at the user conference, you can visit us based on these categories of readiness, intelligence, and operations, or you can learn about our technology solutions in all of these different areas. So why does all of these different disciplines use GIS in order to support their mission, the wide variety of different missions? So fundamentally, GIS supports data integration. So data integration is a complex problem across all of these mission areas. We have a wide variety of source data collected from sensors, from people, from systems, reporting requirements. That data needs to be ingested into a system that can be managed. The data also needs to be normalized so we can actually perform analytic tasks on it and use it for monitoring and operational functions. And ultimately, we want to analyze that data to look for patterns and trends in the data, to understand and do forecasting and prediction on the data in order to support robust decision-making across all of these different functional areas. So GIS is uniquely suited to support this complex data integration problem because GIS can be used to integrate anything. GIS can be used to link and combine information. To begin with, it can help us by dynamically bringing different data sets together, so managing knowledge and bringing it into a common landscape called geography. We can also bring these data sets together through visual overlay, lay different data sets on top of each other in order to visualize them and understand them in space and time. It gives us context and content that helps us understand our data. And then ultimately, we can analyze across our data through modeling and spatial analysis. All of these integration tasks that GIS supports can help us discover patterns and relationships in our data. And fundamentally, GIS provides us a framework and a process for integrating data across all stages of a life cycle. Helps us measure data, helps us visualize and understand it by putting our data in context on a map. It allows us to do analysis and modeling, build products, information products, and applications that support planning and design, used to communicate decisions and making decisions, and then ultimately to take action, and during that action taking, be able to monitor our progress against our plan, but also to measure our results and essentially feed back into that cycle. So as we saw in the demonstration and as we've been discussing, fundamentally, GIS is a data integration capability across all of defense and intelligence. It creates a common language that's expressed through map scenes and layers. And it provides shared services that we can integrate into a variety of different components. The way that it does that is by taking all these different types of data from imagery, unstructured data, vector data, and bringing it together and abstracting it as services and as layers that can be integrated into maps. This is really important because all of these maps, layers, and services then can be fed into a wide variety of different applications, whether they support traditional GIS mapping, data visualization, analysis, and dashboards, as you saw there, or to even embed into other systems and to integrate into other components. And this all leverages shared services and a very simple but powerful information model that supports a wide variety of applications. So fundamentally, ArcGIS is a comprehensive geospatial platform. It's service-based, it's distributed, it's open, and it's extensible. This allows it to support individuals, teams, and organizations through a variety of applications, whether they're the desktop, the web, or through APIs. And it enables us to bring GIS into our various systems across the defense and intelligence organizations. ArcGIS provides us tools to organize and manage all aspects of geographic knowledge. This is fundamentally the role of ArcGIS Enterprise and the applications that we use to manage the enterprise. It provides us ways to take data, maps, apps, and models and integrate them in with the people in our organization, providing an integrated user experience to access all this content, data, and application framework. And ArcGIS is an enterprise platform that's built for agile enterprises. Probably most of you across the defense and intelligence community are evolving and adapting and modernizing your enterprise. And ArcGIS is there as part of that modern enterprise. It's cloud ready. It has many open components, whether that's open standards, APIs that you can use to integrate it, or open source code on the many projects that we host on GitHub that you can use to integrate into a wide variety of applications across your enterprise, across this complex, heterogeneous, and constantly evolving systems. ArcGIS's flexibility allows it to plug into that and to continue to evolve as you evolve. Esri partners and customers integrate ArcGIS to the systems used across the defense intelligence community, and this is evidenced through the successful integration into thousands and thousands of systems. So really it's about full-on enterprise capability. So in addition to this idea that we can use ArcGIS at this enterprise scale and integrate across our enterprise, ArcGIS actually extends across the entire enterprise of a defense organization. And what I mean by that is it's not just about operating in the cloud in your headquarters, but it's actually about taking ArcGIS and extending this infrastructure across all levels of command. And when I say infrastructure, I'm saying the tools to integrate data, but also the applications, the identity framework, the ability to log in, share data, and collaborate with other people. That can actually happen at all levels, whether it's national, at a scalable hybrid cloud architecture, in a connected and hybrid disconnected environment at the theater level through edge computing platforms, or even all the way in the field with those kind of pick it up and go kind of servers like the Azure Tactical Cloud or Amazon Snowball Edge, which lets us bring the entire GIS with us to the field. And then we can, of course, have applications that run on devices that participate in this ecosystem through secure communication networks. So really, it's ArcGIS extended capabilities that you're going to see all day extend not just in a cloud or office type setting, but also in the field or remote headquarter type posts like we would see in a theater headquarters. So I do want to dive in a little bit into some specific applications in the various industries that we've been looking at today. Probably many of you here today are actually from our intelligence community in some capacity, whether it's in the US or globally. Your job is to support the intelligence collection and dissemination. And ArcGIS really applies across all intelligence disciplines. And the way that we like to think about it is, in the same way that we saw that GIS is a framework and a process, that process can be overlaid upon the intelligence cycle. And GIS can support us in all phases of that cycle, in the planning and collection by helping us integrate multi-int data, perform requirement analysis, do sensor processing, and help us to normalize our data as we're receiving it. GIS can also help us in the analysis and production phase. Of course, that's a lot of the heavy hitting there. It's really that idea of finding and understanding our intelligence data and being able to dig through it in order to do analysis and produce intelligence products. So that might happen through pattern analysis, suitability analysis, pattern of life analysis, but it also might happen in ways like collaborative tradecraft sharing and working together on developing intelligence analysis products. And then finally, I think the real strength of GIS when we talk about intelligence really comes out in our integration and dissemination. So integrating intelligence together across disciplines, but also integrating into processes like planning and helping us support robust workflows across that process, whether that's supporting policymaking, helping support situational awareness, integrated into planning and the decision-making process, or collaborating dynamically with our colleagues in the intelligence community to integrate our intelligence together. So GIS for Intelligence helps us use location to see patterns, connections, and relationships, and it helps us integrate all of our disciplines across the intelligence cycle. Let's take a look at a couple use cases. So I'm going to move on to talk a little bit about the role of integrating intelligence into our planning process. As I mentioned, the key here is that ArcGIS helps supports integration, so integrating intelligence into planning functions. And the primary way that we can see that expressed is through the intelligence preparation of the battle space, or IPB process, which helps us integrate intelligence into decision making. And it really helps us build a dynamic and living IPB process where each step of the IPB process is actually ongoing cycles where we define our operational environment, we describe the effects it's going to have on operations, we evaluate threats, and we determine course of action. And each of those processes is improved as our data collection, our analytics, and our workflows are improved. And you can think of it as a constantly living and evolving IPB process. The next area we're going to talk about is really ArcGIS' support for all domain operations. So we think about the future of operations. It's really about operating across all domains, land, air, cyber, space. We've already seen some of that actually in our earlier examples. And really ArcGIS provides us this complete IT environment for data integration to support these all domain operations. It supports all of the warfighting functions in a role-based way. Generally, that's going to mean configurable views of data through things like dashboards and common operational pictures, but it also might mean managing information and providing this dynamic information environment for these warfighting functions. And it works all the way from headquarters down to the service member. It supports all computing platforms across the operational space. It's modern and flexible, and supports low and no code integration, has a variety of ready-to-use apps, and it integrates into programs of record. Now, we've already seen some great examples of this when we look at the COP that we saw earlier. But as you look across all of these various warfighting functions, I think you're going to see even more ideas might be inspired as you think about a dashboard for protection showing us maybe the status of our route clearance that's happening from our MPs, or maybe the status of our casualty evacuations in our field hospitals. Or looking at sustainment picture, understanding our supply and where it is on the ground and how events happening on the ground might be affecting our ability to sustain our forces. So with those different examples, and of course the examples we saw earlier of integrating intelligence and planning into the process, I actually want to take you into a very interesting demonstration. The last mission area we'll look at is the area of operational readiness. This crosses many different areas from recruiting and manpower, health, installation facilities, logistics, training and modeling simulation, really anything that I would kind of look at as the business of defense and intelligence. So supporting our operational forces and supporting our readiness overall in order to be effective in our operations. So often in this area, we're really looking, of course, at integrating data through geospatial infrastructure. And a lot of times what we're looking at here specifically is integrating with business systems, whether that's SaaS platforms, developer tools through configurable apps, integrating into systems like Salesforce or Power BI, and business intelligence. So understanding things like analyzing a market, understanding sites, understanding operational efficiency, looking at asset tracking, facility management, logistics and fulfillment, supply chain management, visibility. So there's many different mission areas here, and many of these areas are the same that we see as we work with the Fortune 1000 companies and how they operate their organizations and their businesses. One example of this that probably many of you work on is in the area of smart installations. And in smart installations, we're really focused on achieving a single system which can serve as a location platform for all departments to collaborate and share information in real time. The same platform is used whether it is for the status of an asset, a planned activity, or response to an event. It's used to connect everybody in the installation, whether it's staff, contractors, or tenant organizations. It also includes connecting people who rely on the installation or are connected to the installation, like neighboring communities or higher headquarters, tenants, and workers. A smart installation is data-driven, it's efficient, it's sustainable, it's innovative and resilient. And a smart installation, the technology supports several objectives. Under that heading are sub-themes such as sustainable installation, safer installation, smarter workspaces, resilient installation, smart facilities, and so on. The goal is about delivering improved services and making the installation a pace that functions efficiently and contributes to overall readiness for the organization. Through their efforts, installations can help create these smart installations. Another area that's really been advancing rapidly in the last few years has been in the area of modeling and simulation, which is really focused around creating real-world environments in military simulations. GIS tools help create and curate data. They help us accurately model the real world and analyze training simulation effects. And more importantly, our GIS, the boundaries between this accurate real-world data and the simulated environment the barriers are becoming much lower at entry, and it's becoming much easier to integrate accurate and up-to-date foundational data into our systems. And a lot of this is happening through recent advancements in the integration of GIS into tools for modeling simulation like Unreal Engine and Unity, which are gaming platforms, which we can use to integrate with our GIS systems. So as we discussed, we really looked at a lot of examples of a defense intelligence mission is supported by GIS. We saw some examples that could apply to operational readiness with some great demonstrations at the beginning in the videos. We saw some specific examples of intelligence and how GIS helps us integrate data in order to see patterns, trends, and relationships in data across all intelligence disciplines and across the intelligence cycle. We also looked at how ArcGIS can support all domain operations across every warfighting function by providing different views and common operational pictures, managing data, and working from the headquarters all the way down to the individual service member. So those tools and capabilities are all just built into ArcGIS and can also be integrated into systems that support these various functions across all these different areas. It provides a complete IT environment for data integration and supports workflows across all these functional areas. And that concludes our overview session of GIS applications for defense and intelligence. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of the presenters or follow up via our defense website, our intelligence website, or defense and intelligence community on GeoNet. You can get to all those by clicking on the QR code below or by accessing the URLs listed at the bottom of the slide. Thank you for listening and looking forward to seeing you at an event or activity in the future.